great. Well, in fact, this is a huge fucking topic at the minute. Is money the be all and end all, or is it not? Basically, is it actually important to have money this day and age, or is it not important? I don't even know how to fucking say that.
I think it's one of the most important things. Outside your health, obviously, because I do think that's important,
yeah,
and your happiness, because I think it's one of the most important things. I know it's like I hate to sound like real cliche in that, but it's life's hard enough as it like being life's hard anyway. So then be broke, it's 10 times harder. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Money might not make you happy, but fucking being broke's a joke definitely won't make you happy. Do you know what I mean?
How have you not got money as the number one most important thing? How have you not got money as the number one most important thing?
Because I would do what I do now if I got paid less than other jobs. Because when I left the Navy, I had 6 jobs in 18 months, and I hated them all. And I wouldn't have stayed there for any amount of money. I wouldn't. Yeah. I would do what I'm doing now. It's not lucky because I've worked hard at it, but I'm earning substantially more than I've ever earned before. Now, if you said to me we put a stop to that now, we're gonna take half your wages off you, I would not go back to any job I had before. I wouldn't do it.
With you.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's...
But I still think it's mega important. I love what I do, and the fact that I get paid well for it is a massive part of why I think I do well at it as well, because I've got.
So, I agree with a lot you said there. I think for me, it's not the most important thing, because I think you touched on health. Health is wealth to me, because as long as I'm healthy, I can have a good quality of life. Okay, it might not be at the certain heights that you would be if you've got money, but if you're healthy, you can do a lot of stuff. Just going to the gym makes you feel mint. So being healthy, if I wasn't healthy, that would have a massive effect on my life. But money is literally alongside that, maybe literally just behind it, has been the most important. What I mean by that is, I had a chat a while back with a guy at work. I work away for 2 weeks, then I'm home 2 weeks. And when I say work away, you're working 86 hours a week. So it's a lot of time you spend grafting. The kid at work says, "Oh, I love my job," and I said, "You don't fucking love your job, because who wants to be away from home for 2 weeks at a time?" Now, if you've got kids or a young family, or just been sat in your house pulling your skin back, you want to be at home at the end of the day. However, I'm here because the money's good. Because I said to him, "Would you do it for free if you love your job so much? Come, tell him I'll work here for free because I love it." That ain't the case, so you're lying. Do you know what I mean? And I think money's not everything, but it is everything. Because it's energy. Without it, you start looking at quality of life. What makes your life good? Holidays, little getaway with the boys or with the girls, whatever it may be. Buying something new, doing something cool, going for that meal out, treating your mum or friend to something for their birthday.
I was going to say that on that. Money's good, but it's not so much the money. It's the what it can get you.
It's energy, innit?
So I have 100 grand in my bank doesn't excite me, but to be able to say I can go here, there, everywhere, what I want, I can go out and eat, I can buy myself and my girlfriend nice stuff. That's exciting. So to have the money in the bank, it's not like, look at my bank account. Look at my bank account. But the thing you can do with the money is what makes money so important.
It's energy, because everything costs money. So if you haven't got money, you can't. I think you struggle to do stuff. There's only so long doing arts and craft indoors actually works, or getting dressed up and going for that imaginary a la carte food.
Yeah, but off that, I think these last lockdowns showed us that money isn't actually a thing really, because if I've got the same money, if I can't do anything with it, doesn't matter how much money you've got. This last year we couldn't do anything with it, so I know it's probably a lot nicer sitting in a fucking hot tub in Miami, but
I think you're right. Like, having loads of money in the bank, seeing loads of figures, that's one thing. And I'll be honest with you, I would like to see that, but it doesn't get me off. It's the fact that I can use that money to go on holiday, to buy this, to treat someone to that. That's what I like the idea of.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking like in a society now where I personally feel like it's set up so that you are a good little worker for the government, go work, pay your taxes. It's sort of set up that like from school everything's driven to you need to get a job, you need to earn money, you need to be successful.
Well, Gary Vee said that. He said that school's built for workers, not entrepreneurs. Like
Follow the system.
It's built for people to go into 9 to 5.
Yeah, what I'm getting at, is anything wrong? So let's say about that guy that's probably not going to do well in the system because he's a good artist or a photographer or poet, musician, dancer. They're a bit more creative, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Now they've got to take a huge gamble in terms of saying no to the system. I'm not going to use my time and energy on that 9 to 5. I'm going to pursue this career. If it pays off, they hit the big time. They're an actor, they're a musician, they're a singer, a fashion designer or something.
Yeah.
But if they do, they have to have that accountability. If I've spent a good portion of my years building here, chasing something that's not quite worked out, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think the chase is the exciting part for me.
Yeah.
I mean, like, and I don't think I don't think anyone should be like, it should be frowned at that if you're chasing a dream and it doesn't work out, because who knows if it's going to work out. But I feel like the regret of not doing it, I'd sooner try it and not make money than not try it and think, be that guy in the pub like, oh, I could have done this. Well, why did you fucking do it?
Yeah.
Why didn't you do it?
I think it's difficult though, because as a society, and I'm guilty of it, we are judged on. So your successes in life, or the currency of life, is it's measured in your job, your money in the bank, like your material things that you may have in terms of a car or a house, even down to like your clothes. I'm guilty of it, as I'm pretty sure we all are. Now, if money and that's not that important, could you be with someone or have friends around you that are not driven to make money? They think it's okay that they don't.
Well, yeah, sorry, Cal. Go on, do you want to show
that's basically just, is it okay to not make money? Is someone just like, oh, I'm just happy doing the bare minimum?
See, that's the thing a bit about the being driven part's really important for me. Like, if you're making money or not, that's not an issue to me. You could be making literally no money at all. But are you driven to make money, or are you driven to? It's not even money, but like if you're driven to make art, say, and you know that you're never going to be a millionaire off that. But I want to be a successful. My goal is to earn enough money, how much that is. My goal is to earn enough money where I can sustain myself and just paint all the time.
Yeah.
And if they accomplish that and they're earning 20 grand a year, mate, they're successful to me.
Yeah.
And they're only taking home 20 grand a year. But to me, that's a success.
Yeah.
And that to me is driven. Now, ideally, you make your millions doing that, but I still think that's like a massively driven person if they say, listen, I'm going to take a gamble that I'm going to be able to paint for the rest of my life, and that'll be my long-term, that'll be my career. Don't matter how much money you make, I think that's a success to me.
I sometimes think though, do you know, like, and it's very complex or complicated. If you've got a family to run, you can't think like that then, surely, because I get what you're saying, but then every action has a reaction, and if you want to make 20 grand a year, life's fucking hard, mate. If you've got 2 kids and you make 20 grand a year, like, how are you meant to live? I actually don't know. How are you meant to own a house? How are you meant to go on a holiday? Again, are these things not important? Or are we sort of told, when you're at school, it's important that you leave, get a job, get a mortgage, get a car, have a family, repeat the cycle? Are these not important? Like you said there, if this guy earns 20 grand a year, but he's got kids, he don't go on holiday because he hasn't got any money. Is he got some shortcomings there that he's sort of cheated his kids out of her?
Well, yeah, but how happy? It's like it's not as cut and dry. Like, how happy are these people? I mean, if I know people, and I'm sure you do, that they work every hour under God's sun, like every hour they can, but never see the kids.
Yeah.
Who's successful there?
Yeah.
Like, I've got mates that have got kids, And for me, I measure success on like how well you're doing at your career, how much money you're making, like yourself. Whether it's right or wrong, I do. Now I've got mates that have got kids. Now, if their goal was to have a family, they're more successful than I am. So I mean, it's really dependent.
I think it's a good point. I just think although money's not everything, it is, because I think it's difficult, and maybe this is bordering on toxic masculinity or not, but as men, again, I don't know if this is the system that's been devised for us, but there's pressure to earn money and to run a fucking house. I don't mean run it like, to be fair, women run houses, and I'm not like throwing dirt on them, but women are the heart. Like, I think of my mum ran the house, do you know what I mean? But as men, there is a pressure to be successful and earn money. You'll be judged upon by other men if you're not doing so well. And I'm not saying that's right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm just saying how it is.
It's hard for us, like, back. You've obviously got like kids in that, and you're obviously building a career around something you love. Now we haven't got kids, so it's hard to comment on.
Not enough.
Yeah. But if you was like, I don't know how much money you make, but if you was offered the opportunity to work a 9 to 5, which you hated, but earn thrice as much money, like, would you take it, like, knowing you've got kids?
I mean, there are times when I kind of think that. I think, yeah, would I trade all this in for something that's high paid and more kind of consistent? But being the type of person I am, like...
But you wouldn't be happy doing that, would you?
I probably wouldn't know. I mean, I've had jobs that have paid really well in the past, and at the time, I wasn't enjoying it. And I was like coming home in the evening and I was drinking a full bottle of Chardonnay like most nights, because I was like feeling the stress, and I was trying to look for moments and room within that to do the thing that I actually want to do. Like, I'm a creative guy, and I understand that being creative comes with, it's a trade-off. Do you know what I mean? Like you said, if you want to be a famous artist or poet or musician or whatever, you play the lottery there.
Yeah.
And it might not work, but like you said, if you don't try, you don't know. And even for me as a musician, that's never earned me any money. And I've done that probably like 8 years straight.
You never earned a pound off it?
I've earned money, but not like anything we earn as the band goes back into the machine of the band. So whether that's our studio, buying new equipment, paying to, for vehicles, whatever. But there's no wage in my pocket from doing that. But the name that I've built for myself through the band has then opened up doors that I then have made money on. So, one month I might just manage to get by, but the next month I might make double or triple what I would normally make in that month. The problem for me is, in that triple month, do I go, right, I've made triple, let me put a little bit aside? Not necessarily. I'm getting there now since having kids, but in the past it was always, I've got extra money, let me spoil myself, let's go out for meals, let's get takeaway, let's go on a trip, whatever. Just treat it like it's never going to run out. But you're right, when kids come into the equation, there's a certain level of pressure. But I'm lucky, and I won't keep going on because people are just looking at you. But there is, like you said, I've seen Kizzy, my daughter was 4, and now I've got Azzy, my daughter who's coming up to being 10 months. I've been there for every moment of their life. If I've been able to choose when I go and work and when I stay at home.
That's more important to you then.
It's very important because the bond that I have with my kids is very strong, and I do wonder, like, if I was away all the time and there's barely seeing me, and I know I've got friends who have relationships like that with their parents, especially their fathers, and that's a great shame in our society, is that the father doesn't get to create that bond with their kids as much as the mum. And
1 minute, fucking dog.
Be nice to him.
Where's the baseball bat?
That's interesting, that actually.
Fucking fed him a kid, what more does he want?
The grass is always greener, that's what I'd say.
Yeah.
You might look at, not you necessarily, but like people might look at me and my situation and be like, I love that sort of flexibility. And I look at people in your situation and think, I love that sort of financial stability. But I'm 32.
To hit the jackpot will be to have the financial stability.
It's a fine balance, isn't it?
With something you love.
Of course, yeah. Something that pays a lot, but doesn't require too much of your time. But this
that's. I mean, no one's giving you money. No one's giving you money. No one's rich and not have to work for it unless you.
Well, for example, if you're investing or what have you, do you know what I mean? If you invest wisely, if you've got stocks and shares, if you invest in Twitter the year it was founded, you now start living the dream and you never have to work again. Like, there are people that do succeed at that, but we can't all rely on that. Like, you got to have a backup plan, haven't you?
Yeah, but that's, like we said, that's a gamble, innit? If I sold everything I earn and went and put it on black in the casino and it comes in and I've hit the jackpot, but investing in Twitter,
you'd have what? You'd have like
shut up.
That's 60 quid in the car.
It's always saying Twitter's blown up now in hindsight, but it's like, and I've used this before. If you invested in Nike and Kappa at the same time, well, Nike's doing really well, Kappa's not doing so well. So you'd be taking a gamble. What I'm on about is like something solid. Like you're working, you know you've got a job. It's not a gamble. I go to work, I get paid. Like, is that important, or is it okay to sort of be flexible and maybe try a different avenue?
Let me ask you both this, yeah. Are you confident in your ability to succeed?
Yeah.
So if you lost everything tomorrow, could you pick yourself back up and keep marching forward and get yourself back where you need to be?
I've said this to my mum and dad, and I believe it with every ounce of my being that I'm going to be a millionaire. And I say it now, I say it on camera, I wholeheartedly believe that I will be a millionaire. And I don't mean like this Bill Gates sort of rich, but I mean I will have $1 million at some point in my
What,
bank.
cash or assets?
Whatever it is, I just think I'll be worth $1 million quid, and I wholeheartedly believe it. I can feel it. I just know I will. Now I don't know if that's because I'm doing well recently, and if someone took that off me, I might be like, oh, maybe not. Do you mean could I bounce back and go, no, I'm still going to do that because I'm just in a good position at the minute? I don't know, but right now I wholeheartedly believe that I'm going to be rich. If being a millionaire is classed as rich nowadays, $1 million quid doesn't really fucking get you. You couldn't even defend yourself in court for $1 million, could you really? If it come up.
I think firstly it's fucking good to hear you say that, because I think one of the most important things is mindset in all of it. I always think if you back yourself 100%, you won't go far wrong. I've always said, you know, if you hang around with fucking 5 Spanish speaking people, you'll learn Spanish. You hang around with 5 fucking idiots, you become an idiot. If you surround yourself with people that think like Luke's thinking now, I think it's impossible for you not to be projected in a similar way, because you're around people who are driven. You have to be driven. But to say, like, I was leaving the Marines and I never was a fucking labourer or a builder or an engineer or anything, and I went into the renewable energy sector, which I'd never done before and I didn't know anything around. But believe it or not, I'm not a retard. I can learn things. And I had lads laugh that had been tradesmen. I say, fucking hell, Radders, you can't be on the tools. I earn more money than them now. And I'm not sort of rubbing it in the face, but if you want to do something, I do believe you can do it. And if I left the Marines, that's all I'd known for 8 years, I started fresh, and I'm successful again. And I honestly believe if I left this job and I had to start again, I'd be successful again, because I think it's down to the individual. If you want to succeed, eventually, if you keep knocking on the door, I'm not saying in a week's time I'll have exactly the same job, if not better, but eventually if you keep knocking, someone has to open the door or you'll break it down, do you know what I mean? And I think if you believe in yourself, you can get it done. But I think being successful for me I think it's super, super important financially. Like you said, I'm with you on that. I think whether it's cash or assets, I do think myself I'll be a millionaire. And people might think, oh, you know, what bold statement, and that's fine, but I don't see why not. When someone asks me why would you, I think, well, why wouldn't I be? Like, why not?
Someone's got to earn it, why can't I?
The way I see it now, if I own 3 or 4 properties, there you are, I'm a millionaire. And I don't see that being unachievable, as long as you plan towards it, if you know what I mean. I've fucking gone off topic. I'm onto property tycoon here, but I do think I think earning money, it's important, because I had this.
So would you? I know, like, interrupting you, and you could have shushed me then, but would you?
I was raised well.
Would you if you started to hate your job,
yeah,
would you stick with it?
No, I'd change. And that's.
But if the job you wanted was half the pay.
But that's the thing for me. I wouldn't settle. So I stopped.
Why is that the only two options?
Exactly. We had this, didn't we?
I
had this. I'm leaving the Marines because 8 years. It's took its toll. Sick of driving up and down the line to bases. I feel like I'm not home, and I don't think the money for me. I'm not slagging it off or looking down on anyone still doing it. But it wasn't justifying it anymore. I'd had the trips, I'd had the experiences, done what I wanted to do. Now I'm thinking the money, I can't justify being away for 3 or 4 weeks on the money I'm on. This is me personally. Yeah. So I could have gone and worked in Lidl. I'm not looking down on anyone in Lidl. Could have worked in Lidl every single night and then a fraction of what I was getting in the Marines. But I'm home every night, I'm happy.
Yeah.
But why do I have to work in Lidl?
Why is that the only two options?
That's not the only two options. So research, planned and did something different where I earn more money and I'm home more, which is exactly what I wanted to do.
But that's why I asked that question about if you had to take a different job or whatever, you're confident that it's like my attitude's always been it's all going to be alright. Like I'm gonna whatever I set my mind to, I'm gonna achieve. The only reason I haven't bought a house so far is because it only occurred to me a few years ago that I should buy a house. But if, you know, for example, I come from a council house, single mother. The idea that we would buy houses was never there. The idea that I would get married was never there. But since having kids, that all slots into place, and I'm realising, like, no, of course I need to buy a house. Of course I should get married. And now that that's an idea in my head, I can see that one way or another, I will bring that into fruition. And again, not to go on, but like I mentioned earlier, like most people don't reach their financial stride till they're in the 40, 45 years old. Person that springs to mind is Ricky Gervais. Worked in an office, and you know, an average wage all his life. As he got to 40, blew up with the office. Now he's a superstar. He's worth fucking God knows how many tens, if not hundreds of millions. He lives in the most expensive neighbourhood in London. He lives in a house that's like 200 years old. Yeah. It's just him and his wife. The house has got about 20 bedrooms. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Did he necessarily think that he was going to be in that position? Yes and no. Because he always thought to himself, like, mate, I'll be fine. Things will work out for me.
Yeah, you have to have that mindset, didn't he? I don't think anyone stumbles across hundreds of millions of dollars or pounds without that mindset of I'm going to make that somehow. Because why would he start the office? No one starts anything with the intention of it not being successful.
Yeah, the potential was within him, and it was just at what point was that going to be unlocked? For some people, it might be 15. They might fucking make Facebook.
No, I mean, but if you're going to be an artist or a musician or a TV fucking personality, or actor, singer, whatever it is, right? Like what Luke said there, you're not going to go, do you know what, I'm going to make music, but I don't believe I'll ever make it. Because if you had that attitude, you wouldn't make the music in the first place. Every artist or musician or actor, deep within them, thinks, I'm going to fucking make it. Yeah. And that's why I do think when they finally get there, they deserve everything they get, because they've slogged it out. They've done that way. All the peers and people around them are getting a house, getting a car, kids, married, looking safe, and they're still like, fuck, I'm grafting. I think that's why you deserve that stuff, because you stuck to your guns, you backed yourself, and now you reap the benefits. And I think fair play to them. But going back to it, I also think it's a huge gamble.
Of course, for everyone that succeeds, 1,000 things.
I've been not so well off. I'm not going to talk a fucking story of poverty. I've been not so well off, and I've been well off. I choose well off. Every single fucking time. It's not even. I wouldn't skip a breath on it. Do you know what I mean? I said earlier, everyone sat at my table now, theoretically speaking, is well fed. And now
there's no like, what's the word I'm looking for? There's no like heroism in just having no money.
No.
Do you know what I mean? It's not like
it ain't cool.
Profit is not a bad word. People don't like to talk about it. They don't like to talk about money, but profit's not a fucking dirty word, is it? No. It's not a bad thing to make money and look after yourself.
It's a great feeling. I got my mum a car a while back. Best feeling ever. And I think sometimes And again, I ain't gonna fucking try to dull it down. I work hard, I play the game, everything's calculated, I can look after people important to me. It's a great feeling. Now, I think money, going back to it, it is super important, because if it wasn't important, you wouldn't get people faking it till they've made it, if you know what I mean. If you don't have money, you don't have money, but I think everyone feels that pressure to be successful, hence why people fake it. Fake that they're successful with clothes or getting cars that they're in debt for and stuff like that. Like, there is that pressure. Everyone feels it to be successful in whatever shape or form it is. So I'm not saying it's the be all and end all, but it's fucking
not far off.
It's not far off. It's pretty important. Even down to relationships, and I could be called shallow, whatever. But I wouldn't want a girlfriend or friends, or even to hang around with people that have no interest in being successful.
But again, off the back of that, I think it's important to note that being successful and being rich don't always have to be linear. Like, they don't always have to be the same thing. So if my friend really wants to be successful in something that's probably not going to make him a lot of money, but he's had to work seriously hard to get it, I still think
it is a success. I agree. It is a success.
But like I said, if the two can go together, like, you do something that you love and you're making good money from it, and why not? Why is that such a bad thing?
It tends to be a byproduct of the other, because if back you're passionate about your music, you put in everything into it, which ends up making it a really good product. People will buy into that because it's a finished product. If someone asked me to do a painting now, I couldn't give a shit.
Yeah.
So I'd probably do something. No one's going to buy it because I've not put my heart and soul into it. So I get what you're saying. Like, being successful and being rich doesn't always go hand in hand. And there's people inherit money, but they're not exactly successful because they've just inherited it.
Yeah, and there's also like musicians, for example, who do win the jackpot and still, go down a spiral path and die at the age of 27 from drug overdoses.
Yeah.
And aren't happy. Johnny Depp, for example, with the whole situation with his partner and Amber Heard and all that situation. So it's a tricky one. It's like what you said. You define your own success, right? And life's a journey, and that's part of the fun of it. It's like, where can this go? What can happen? For all three of us in our situations, you know what I mean? All of us are doing something very different to each other, but we're not like, are you set in stone to do what you're doing now? If something you prefer comes along.
I'll never work for someone again.
Yeah.
Unless I'm desperate. Yeah. If now I lost half my clients and I lost half my money, and I lost half of the gym or whatever, I would still stick at it. I wouldn't. I'd hang on to the dear life to keep working at it, because I love what I do as well. Yeah. That's a massive part of it. I do love what I do. So I'm sort of fixated on what this is what I'm going to do now until I make enough money where I can retire.
But like, say something comes along, like, actually, like, you're doing the boxing gym and the functional fitness, but then something comes along that you think, actually, I've really got into painting. I want to be a painter. Would you not let yourself explore that? Would you follow that? Same for you. Like,
no, I can answer that real simply. No, like, if I am not by any means necessarily the finished article now, or the richest man in the room, let alone the city or anything. However, I am very comfortable now, and if I all of a sudden thought, you know what, I want to paint or be, have some fun doing some rapping, I wouldn't do it, because I like you said there, you evolve over time and you understand. No, I'm from a similar bit of cloth from you. My mum didn't care what job I did as long as I had money, because my board that I paid, it went on the electricity, it went on a bill. Yeah. I know it did. Yeah. It went in the fridge. So as long as I was bringing money in, as long as I was safe and bringing money in, my mum was happy. So it wasn't until later on I actually thought about buying assets and being smart with my money, because we all did live hand to mouth. But now I'm older, I understand that it's nice to be comfy. People can say what they want about that, but I wake up and I don't panic, like, fuck, where am I going to get my mortgage money from?
But this podcast, for example, like, you don't need to do it.
No.
This is something that you feel inside that you want to do.
Yeah.
Like,
this is little extracurricular activity. However, if it came down to doing this podcast, hoping I blow up and I'm next Joe Rogan, or just going and getting a job and earning money, me personally, and I'm not saying it's again the formula, I would just go get some guaranteed money. I might be cutting myself short because this might fucking blow up. But I wouldn't take the chance. I would just do the show thing.
Yeah, and to be honest, I agree with you. For a long time, I didn't. I tunnel vision. I'm going to be a musician. I'm going to succeed no matter what. If I doubt myself at all, I won't succeed. And then I got to a point where I was like, actually, that doesn't need to be the central focus of my life. That should actually be a bit more over here. And let me focus on, pursuing, starting a company, which I did. Let me pursue building a brand around my own, just me as an individual, which I did. I've had way more success in those two things than I did with the music. So now the music has become a thing that I do for enjoyment, basically.
I've got one for you though, Luke, because obviously back to touch upon it. If you had kids then, would you still do your job if you lost half your clients, half your money, half your gym? Could you still justify going to work saying, okay, I'm not earning great money,
I like it,
but I like it, so fuck it. You kids just have to deal with it. Have your little imaginary food.
Yeah, but are you putting food in their mouth, for example?
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's when you get dependent.
How much? Like, I'm earning enough where I am putting food on the table still, or is it literally like you're not earning any money but you're enjoying it? I'm
talking quality of life, and this is what I'm saying. Like, the more money you have, the more. So for me, I folded clothes. Not slagging anyone off, but horrid, hated the job. I felt I was cutting myself short, that I could do so much more than fold clothes. So I joined the Marines and folded more clothes. But did some other shit. But if I would have, and don't get me wrong, I sometimes hate silver spoon fed people, but it's good as well, because if I was well looked after financially, I wouldn't have to go away and do any of that shit. But because there was no real other option, or no one was going to die and leave me any money, it's like you have to make shit happen. Now, if you've got kids, I don't know, me personally, and this might be because of my own experiences as a child, or with my parents, or shall we say, I couldn't have dependents and do mediocre and feel like I was doing enough for them. Because I think if I average and mediocre, they think it's okay. Do you know what I mean? I'm not slagging my mum. My mum's the most important person. She did her best.
Yeah. But why? But in that is the reason why you don't aim for mediocre. Is that what I'm saying?
Yeah, because I'm breaking the mold now.
No, but your child isn't gonna. For example, if you put a silver spoon in your mouth, devil's advocate. If you put a silver spoon in your kid's mouth, are they then going to have the fire in the belly and the drive to go out there and succeed?
So I'll give you an example of how it works, and like we talked about becoming more educated as time goes on, and we spoke about this. This place I'm in now was my first house I bought. I will never sell this house, and when I have a kid, I will not use the word she, because I already know preempted. He will live in this house, and I will take money off him, and he will understand the concept of having to deal with money and where it gets him. Now that money he gives me, hopefully, I'll be in a position to put it in a saving fund for him, and I don't actually need it to pay anything off, because I'm financially sound. But he will still learn that he can't just inherit shit and do whatever the fuck he wants, because that's not the lesson I'm trying to teach. I would like him to understand the concept of money and the discipline that comes with it, but I don't want him to struggle, because why would you want your kids to struggle?
Yeah, of course.
I used to be envious of people that inherit shit like fucking posh bastards. But why would, me having a kid, why would I want my kid to struggle?
Yeah, no, of course you don't want them to struggle.
No.
But like, all I was saying is like the fire in your belly is because you felt the struggle. So does it take away from...
I don't know if that's true, because my mum and dad's done quite from 5 stuff. I had absolutely no. I'd love to say, I was dragged up and not all this, and that's why I'm doing well. But I'm not. My mum and dad did fine, and I had a really good childhood. But I still want to do better than them. Like
do you not think success breeds success? Because that's what I'm saying, and it's a bit off topic. But if you normalise odd behaviour, it becomes the norm when it isn't. So now, if you normalise having a kid at 18, having no fucking ambitions in life, and just to be on benefits, have more kids, and I'm not really bothered about further learning or earning money, I'm just happy doing that, right? That becomes the norm, but it isn't the norm. And it's not my norm anyway. I think people, and if I had a kid, I would want them to own a 3-bedroomed house when they're 24. And when they have kids, I hope they're like, you know what, I want a 4-bedroom house and a 5-bedroom. I want to own a fucking mansion. I just think it should be pushed all the time, so that every generation is better than the last one. Because if you've got if the next kids coming through are the same or worse than you, I think, and again, I'm not saying it how it is, but it is, you've failed them somehow. Because if there's no progression, then what have you actually taught them people? That's what I think, you know, and that's why I don't think, it's difficult, it depends, but if I had dependents, I couldn't do mediocre, I'd have to be successful, because there's so much more riding on it than money.
I know. Because I've said this to my mum and dad, I'd love to like retire my mum and dad. My mum and dad aren't far off retirement anyway, to be fair, and I mean I don't plan on making it in the next 2 years or whatever, but I would love the idea of like being able to say to my mum, like, I'm sending you away to Maldives, like that would fill me with fucking loads of like happiness.
And pride.
So I don't know.
No, you're right, because like I said, I use my mum for example. She worked 2-3 jobs, single parent. She just made shit happen. She didn't really have the time to say, oh, you want to be... I wouldn't say the time, because she didn't know any different. She just knew work, get money in, make shit happen. So she wasn't really telling me about mortgages, about saving money. We just lived. It wasn't until I got older and I met different people and had different experiences, you think, maybe I should start putting some money aside.
Yeah, exactly,
But now, I don't hold that against my mum. I will never earn enough money to repay my mum back. But like you said, when I can take on holiday or get her a car, it feels mint. So that's why I think mediocre for me isn't good enough. Because I need to be better than my mum, and I hope to God when I have kids they think, Joe, I want to be better than my dad. Because even down to now, this place is nice that we live in. So if I had kids, this is the standard now. The kids, without even thinking about it, will know that they can't be, and it's difficult, I'm not slagging people off, but they know that it's not okay to have a shithole of a house, because the standard's been set right now. So when they get older, they'll be thinking, I remember that mum and dad's house and this is how it looked. So it needs to be like this, if not better.
And that wouldn't even be like a conscious thought in their mind.
It's ingrained in
how they feel.
Where if you are one of them people that have no ambition, you just fucking don't give a fuck about my job. I just sit in, smoke, swear in front of the kids, call them little bastards. You're already setting them up for failure. And it's very rare that one of them kids thinks, you know what, I'm going to fucking go against the grain here. Because you've normalised that behaviour that you don't need to be successful. It's okay to just fucking be on benefits. When in my best opinion, it isn't.
And you see it all the time, don't you? And it's not very nice, but you do see it all the time. The kids at school that are a nightmare and they don't have much going for them, the mum and dad look exactly the same.
And that's what it's a vicious cycle.
It's a cycle, it is.
And it's not whether it's a kid's fault or not. You can tell straight away what the parents are going to look like, and they come to school and start swearing at the teachers because their kid's an idiot. When you can like pick them out of a crowd, couldn't you? That's definitely that kid's mum.
I mean, absolutely.
That's definitely that kid's dad.
Look, we're climbing a ladder, aren't we? With each generation, we expect them to be higher up the ladder. You know, like I want to be a better parent to my kids than my mum wants to be. Not saying she was a bad parent.
I'm with you.
But obviously, there's certain things that I've learned and I'm able to do that she wasn't able to do. You know, my mum rose us up all upon benefits. 4 kids, we're all, you know, 3 out of 4 of us so far all went to university. You know, we've all pursued like jobs and careers, whatever we choose to do, and had success in them. Something that she's never experienced.
I think we've covered a lot there, but in the comments, let us know what you think, whether on the money or off the money with it. What do you think? Do you reckon money's important or not? It's the be all and end all.
It's one of the most important things.
Facts.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's important, but as long as you feel happy in your life,
Yeah, I think I sort of reflect them thoughts. Money's not beyond everything, but love and kind thoughts are not going to pay your mortgage.
Yeah.
As always, I'm not everyone's cup of tea, but I'll never take from a mug. Just be yourself. Cash money. Good job, boys.